a number of countries, working within a country. In Senegal, there's a great one. In Egypt, there have been a number of them. And they have been much, much more effective because they're working from within the culture, from within the religion. If an imam at the mosque says, there's nothing about FGM in the Quran, this is contrary to Islam, that's infinitely more effective than any UN resolution. So I think we're often more effective giving the microphone to local leaders. Likewise, in terms of girls' education in Afghanistan, we have a real problem. U.S. troops are pulling out, especially so in Pashtun areas in the south and the east. Our girls will be able to go to school. Well, if we advocate education in the sense of American-built schools and telling everybody girls should go to school, I think we should be encouraging it. That's not going to be very effective. The place where you can most effectively have girls study in Pashtun areas in Afghanistan is literature classes in the mosque. If you work with a local imam, then the Taliban will often allow those literacy classes in the mosque for girls, especially you have to negotiate with the Taliban. One of their issues is they want to use Pakistani textbooks, not Afghan government textbooks. They don't like to have Afghan government textbooks that have Hamid Karzai's picture in them. These are things one can negotiate, and I think working through local thought leaders and supporting them and helping them is often much more effective as a way of getting around these issues.
Just to let everyone know, we have time for about 2 more questions. So,
They're deliberately avoiding me.
Hi.
No, because they know who I am.
A couple big questions about your overall movement that aren't meant to be critical at all, because I think what you're doing is really fabulous. But I guess I'm just overwhelmed by the hugeness of the project. What do you see as, what approach are you guys using from a public policy perspective? I see you're using like Facebook and documentaries and celebrities and all that. And what do you think are the merits of those different approaches? Like there's the nonprofit direct aid approach, which helps a lot of people directly and is wonderful, but what does helping a village do when there's not public policy that supports women? And then there's the other side of it, which is what good does public policy do? It never trickles down. Bureaucracy doesn't help real people. And then a kind of follow-up, which is kind of similar to the question before, is where do you think there's a line to be drawn, or do you, between international aid and paternalism, and does it matter when there's genocide going on?
So in terms of how one makes a difference, what one does, I suggest the sort of public health approach that we took to addressing auto safety. I don't think there's any one solution. I do think that sometimes we in this country have tended, maybe especially my generation, to lean too much on legal solutions or systemic institutional solutions, and so the inclination was to have some kind of new international covenant or UN body or pass laws. And what really strikes me is that outside the Capitol, these rarely make much difference. And I wonder if maybe if more of the political capital had gone not to those efforts, but to getting the girls in school, for example. I wonder if that might not have been more effective. But you do need, I don't think there is one approach, and you need to include governance. If you try to figure out why some countries are poor and others aren't so poor, I think good governance is one major reason for that difference. In terms of paternalism, I think it's kind of, sort of the same issue of, I think that it comes up sometimes. There's resentment among some middle class Africans about what they see as whites in the U.S. jumping on kind of the worst parts of Africa, calling attention to things in ways that leave this unfavorable impression of Africa as a whole. That's something that I wonder a